NIR is currently in an interesting spot, and that's not just in terms of technical analysis, that's also in terms of its total value locked development, which is going up, whereas the competitors, Polygon Matic, Solana, Avalanche, is rather going down in terms of total value locked. So there are some things happening with NIR. We are going to look at interesting data, so for example at the token inflation rate, and I hope that with the help of the community, with the comments under this video, we can find out why are people actually adopting NIR. What are the current interesting trades here? What decentralized apps are being used? How is it possible that the NIR ecosystem can attract capital? Now, what's interesting around NIR is that in the grand scheme of things, it's not yet a juggernaut at all, right? It's at rank 17. So currently only 370 million roughly are locked in the NIR ecosystem. Ethereum has 58 billion, right? So this is declining quite rapidly from rank to rank, and there is still quite a bit of room to grow. We are definitely not late here. We've got more history for other chains, right? So for example, here for Avalanche, this chart is starting in February of 2021, and then the total value locked peaked at 13 billion in December of 2021. And then went down by more than 80%. We see something similar for Solana. The decline is even more pronounced. We're pretty stable now at a low level. And this is Polygon, not that different. Maybe in relative terms, not that massive though. So if we look at the entire DeFi ecosystem, 2022 hasn't been great, right? And this very sharp decline here was the Terra Luna collapse. So this here is all of DeFi. So 2021, things tend to go down, but not so for NIR. Look at this year, beginning of this year, we were at 120 million. We have roughly 3x'd. So there's really adoption happening here. And when we look at the market cap of NIR, so of the NIR token, it's also not that huge, right? We're looking at market rank 25, a market dominance of 0.3%. So 0.3% of all of cryptocurrencies value, when we look at the entire crypto space, only 0.3% is in NIR. Now, when we look at the price chart of NIR, we don't want to necessarily just look at the US dollar chart, because the US dollar chart is highly influenced by the rest of the crypto market, right? When we look here at this bottom on the 19th of July, we can see a similar bottom also on the 19th of July for Ethereum. Or when we look at Bitcoin, not that different. The 19th of July was the bottom. So whenever we look at the US dollar chart of various cryptocurrencies, we kind of see the same thing, just with different flavor. So we want to filter out somehow what the entire crypto market is doing, and we want to look at relative performance. Because the reason we invest in NIR, or why we consider doing this, is because we want to get more performance than just by buying Bitcoin or just by buying Ethereum. And so let's look at this. Let's look at NIR denominated in Bitcoin. This is a chart, a very different chart. NIR tends to outperform Bitcoin, and currently we are relatively low on this upwards trend. If this would go up, right, if this trend continues and we would see new all-time highs, then a 200% outperformance or so versus Bitcoin wouldn't be completely unreasonable. When we look at the relative performance to Ethereum though, it's not that obvious. So this is the long-term Ethereum chart. Sometimes NIR is cheap, sometimes NIR is relatively expensive. Currently though, the performance is not in favor of NIR, right? Currently, we are rather in a downwards trend, which I find surprising. And I'd like to get the opinion of the NIR supporters trying to explain this move, right? When adoption is increasing, the total value locked is increasing since beginning of the year. Why, since beginning of the year, isn't NIR outperforming Ethereum? Is this just a mispricing of the market? So have people simply not yet noticed anything? Or is there something fundamentally going on that's a problem? Anybody that's supporting this should also have an explanation. I might have one explanation, but I'm not sure if that's the entire story. So when we go to Messari.io, we can see various data points around NIR. And according to this website, the current inflation rate, so the token inflation rate of NIR, is 26% per annum. So this additional supply hitting the market might reduce the price. Now, I don't know who actually gets this supply. So can you stake NIR and get this kind of a return so that the price decline wouldn't really matter too much? Is this the very early backers that get all of this and you're actually fighting against all of this inflation? It would be interesting if this inflation rate first and foremost is accurate, and then if this might have a bad impact on the investment, or if you can actually recoup all of this inflation by staking or by other means. What would also be very interesting is what is driving all of this adoption? What are the current traits that make this so attractive? So when we see, for example, a 30% increase here in Ref Finance, why is this going up that much? Is there a particular trade maybe on stablecoins that gives us much better returns than for other decentralized apps? Is there any other interesting trade that people do, maybe interest arbitrage or whatever it is, that makes this attractive? Finding out the fundamentals around this development would be very helpful, because obviously something is going on. And the earlier we can learn about this, the more we can potentially take advantage of this, or the more we can anticipate how long this current trend might last. There's one more chart I want to look at, and this is the near dominance. Right? So as we have said already before, 0.3% of the entire crypto market is locked up in the near token. And also look at this in a chart historically. So when we go to tradingview.com and we enter near.d, we get the near dominance over time. So we can see, is near actually relative to the rest of the market outperforming or underperforming? And there is quite a bit of volatility here, but we do see some kind of an outperformance, and that makes sense. But in my opinion, this is still quite volatile. This is still not really reflecting what's going on with the total value locked chart. So any kind of feedback, why all of this is happening, what kind of trades are currently interesting, what kind of future developments might be coming up that triggers the buying now in anticipation, that additional information would be useful. I'm simply now showing what the current state is, and the current state is near tends to be outperforming Bitcoin, and near tends to be relatively low within that upwards trend, and adoption is happening, whereas the rest of the DeFi space is currently shrinking. If you haven't yet subscribed, feel free to do so. I publish videos regularly. A like, of course, would be appreciated as well. And in case you're interested what I currently do with my crypto money, feel free to check out thebitcoinstrategy.com. The link is in the video description. It's currently $49 US per month. That price will increase very soon. So if you're interested in this, rather lock in the current rate and carry this on until you unsubscribe. There's another video discussing the current state of the bear market. Feel free to watch that. Hope to see you in that video, and thanks for watching this one. Bye bye.